wanted to welcome everybody back. The Browns organization has gone out of its way to make sure that this is the safest work environment possible with your safety in mind. And so as we open up today, we just wanted to kick things off with a few reminders as to how to keep this a safe and successful work environment. Again, this is a team approach. We all have some responsibility in this, and wanted to welcome everybody back. I think we've had a successful start here this morning, and as new guidelines or new recommendations come up, we'll make sure to communicate and bring those up with the team to maintain that frequent conversation as we continue to move forward.
First time back in the office in a little while, so be back in here. I know it looks a little bit different and there's some protocols in place, and obviously wearing the mask is something different, but I think we're all on board and making sure it's a safe return to work.
Very good, all set. You can just sign in.
Okay. You're no longer remote, so you're kind of off of the surface, and now you're back onto the desktop, and really just get organized today, and then we have a plan kind of moving forward for the rest of this off-season program. The next steps for us is getting the staff back in here and getting used to working in a couple different ways, and we got to continue to be adaptive. It's pretending it's working. We've done a lot of virtual teaching, a lot of remote teaching, so excited to get the guys back in here and get on those fields with the players, and there's a lot of work still to be done.
Yeah, I think coming back in the building was an interesting experience for all of us.
So weary because like walking down this hallway is so weird. This kind of buzz.
Kind of a mixture between being anxious to get back and then also kind of feeling out, the layout and kind of how everything's looking for us. And so emotionally, I think I was kind of just anxious, getting back in, getting settled in, understanding that it was going to be a little different than the environment that we left. And it was going to be an adjustment period for all of us regardless.
What do we want to get accomplished today? I think first, what I was thinking is whatever you guys need to do in the weight room to get prepped for that, whatever, like organized and all that sort of thing, maximized at 15 guys in the weight room at a time, so we'll still figure out the logistics on that. Our initial meetings back is really just getting the staff back together again, and where do we need to go from here? Making sure that we have a solid plan in place so that we're reducing, the high traffic touch points for the players and keeping them safe, and the protocols that we need to follow around that, and maybe some alterations in our schedule that we would incur with that.
Okay, good to see everybody. Let's get started. All right, so compete, a word that we've been talking about a lot the last few weeks. So part of competing, right, is competing in the arena of social justice. And a lot of people on this call have a platform, myself included, and we need to use that platform. I am no expert in this area, I promise you that, okay? I'm just a football coach. But what I'm trying to do is give you guys some avenues where we can start to educate, can start to listen, can start to make a difference. On Tuesday, June 9th, you will have no meetings, you will have no workouts, they're canceled. That's the day of George Floyd's funeral down in Houston. And I think we need to pay our respects. Whether we can go there or not, we still have to pay our respects regardless of where we are. Whether it's making a donation, whether it's educating yourself, reading something, listening to one of those podcasts, maybe having a dialogue, maybe talking to your kids, maybe making a phone call to somebody. Let's use that day to be active in the social justice arena. That is Tuesday, okay? And then, fellas, the workouts that you guys are doing, okay? This is not easy. The easy part would be not to require this, would be not to have you tape it. That'd be easy, okay? And I'm sure other teams are doing that, and I don't care, okay? Because this group is about work. That's big time, fellas. And I promise you, this will make a difference. The work you're putting in right now will make a difference. I promise you that. We're laying the foundation. Okay, we will reinforce this foundation. It's just if you guys keep doing what you're doing, you keep working. All right, we're setting ourselves up to go down that path. You guys always know this. I got your back. All right, have a great weekend.
In light of everything that's happened, since the murder of George Floyd, For me, I think it's been well, I think it's been great that people in the public have been able to see that there is a real problem with race within our country. And it's been good to see that people are expressing outrage, anger, condemnation. I also think it's really important that this moment in history or this moment in time, like that emotion is channeled into action that can actually advance the ball, that actually can make things better for, quite honestly, blacks in our country. And sending the email out to our organization really stemmed from that. And I asked our employees to do one of three things, whether it's in terms of getting educated, signing up for different initiatives around the community, donating money, you name it. And it's been a very encouraging response, and something that if scaled appropriately, I think we could actually truly make real change in our society.
I think what Andrew did was outstanding, and it's a message that we've constantly been harping on is being about action. And Andrew very specifically was about things that we can do, about things that we can educate ourselves with. And it was really a challenge to all of us. So this has been a stark reminder of how we can affect positive change, and anything that I can do to help our players do that, I'm going to do.
I think you've always seen and can appreciate the long history that Cleveland athletes have when it comes to getting involved in their community and really trying to create an impact for really the entire country. It goes all the way back to 1967 with Jim Brown, when there was the summit here in Cleveland, showing their support for Muhammad Ali, and also getting together to talk about how athletes could make an impact, an economic impact on Americans in the black community.
A lot of people asked me in my 2 days here in Canton, how does it feel to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame? Naturally, I'm very proud and I'm very happy, but I'm prouder and more happy over a few other things. First of all, during the parade this morning, I had a fantastic time because there were about 250,000 people along our route, and they were wonderful. They responded and they made me feel that I was really wanted in the area and that I was remembered, and that the things that I did in football was highly respected. And it was all very natural and all very spontaneous, so I was very happy.
I think we always talk about the power of sports and how it brings people from multiple different backgrounds together for a common cause. A lot of times you see that in the locker room with players, but you also see fans from all over, from all types of different neighborhoods, from all types of different communities, really coming together to celebrate when teams are having success. And there was really no better example of that than when the Cavs won the title 4 years ago, right here in Cleveland.
It's over! It's over! Cleveland is a city of champions once again! The drought is over!
Cleveland! This is for you! So you see how sports can light up a city. This city is happy, and I'm happy.
It was really symbolic seeing Jim Brown hand the championship trophy to LeBron during the parade, because those are athletes who have always stood for more than just sport. And you want athletes to be able to use their platform to really create some positive change within society. I'll never forget 2014, late in the season, when Andrew Hawkins decided to use his platform to deliver a message to the community about how impactful what was going on in Cleveland at that time when Tamir Rice was shot, how really the black community was crying. And I remember Hawk, when he spoke in the locker room, you could really hear a pin drop. Everyone kind of stopped, stood there, and listened to his message.
The number one reason for me wearing the t-shirt was the thought of what happened to Tamir Rice happening to my little Austin scares the living hell out of me. And my heart was broken for the parents of Tamir and John Crawford, knowing they had to live that nightmare of a reality.
Sometimes events like that are so big and they have such a huge impact on so many people, but people often forget. And Tamir Rice was a time in Cleveland where our community was really sad and angry about what happened. And there's some new people coming into our organization. They need to understand the history here in Cleveland. So going to the Tamir Rice Memorial, I think, gave Kevin and gave others a really good opportunity to reflect on what's happening in our country right now.
So on Tuesday, we went down to the Tamir Rice Memorial Garden on a solemn day, on the day of George Floyd's funeral. We felt like it was important to pay our respects, and that was an event in this community that I wasn't here for, but I know how impactful it was. Here we have a kid, not even a young man, a 12-year-old kid, right? Lost his life 6 years ago.
This was the incident that changed my life. Like, I don't have any extra level of anger after this one.
I remember when that whole event happened pretty vividly. I was in the DC area at the time, but hearing that story, like, it was heartbreaking. And then to come and now have a sense for the Cleveland community, and then to be there where it happened, it really forces you to reflect.
We are a family. We're in this for one. We realize what's right. And there are some things that are they're more important to football. And this is one of those moments where our focus can't be only or solely on, what goes on between the white lines. There are just bigger societal issues at play. And NFL teams in general have such a influence on their communities that if we can't be at the front of the pack in some of these issues that, impact all of us, then it's shame on us. Education is of paramount importance with racial issues in our country because, we all have blind spots, we all have, biases, especially around this issue. And the more people that can get informed and then ultimately use that education and use that knowledge to drive positive change, the better off we're going to be. And you learn and grow from the people that you spend 8 to 12 hours a day with. And so diversity, first and foremost, it's a good practice. Like, it makes a healthier organization, it makes a better organization. I guess maybe my hope would be that whether it's hiring practices in the NFL or ownership groups, they look in different areas for their hiring needs. And I don't think that's it's not necessarily a black-white issue. It's, that may be part of it, the racial dynamic, but gender, thought process, age, like all of those things are important because all 32 entities in the NFL, they're different. So the decision makers should be different.
I think the perception of women in football, it's an interesting one. And I've always thought growing up and as I've gone through my playing career and then entered into coaching, just how wild of a concept it is that there's some part of a male's brain that holds football IQ that apparently doesn't exist biologically in the female brain. I always thought that was such a wild concept that people really believe that. When I was seeing consistent examples while I was playing of high football IQ women that I played with that coached us, and then again, when I got into my career, I saw it, in my female colleagues around the league. Like, it was baffling to me.
I think every woman in the NFL has that story that we always dreamed about working with football, and it kind of started with me when I was in high school, and my background is athletic training, and I was an athletic trainer before becoming a dietitian. Chug that and then chug a whole bunch of water. And when I was in undergrad, they asked me what my goals were as an athletic trainer, and I wanted to work in the NFL. And that got shot down at the time, but it kind of made me grow into the person that I'm going to continue my dream and continue to push forward to be a woman working in the NFL. So working from home had its pros and cons. So some of the challenges were just kind of getting a hold of everybody and making sure that everybody had setups that they are kind of similar to replicating what they have available here. When the players are here in the building, they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks available. So when we send them out on their own or they're home, they kind of have some different options that they have available. If you guys need a grocery list or some easy recipes to cook with your family or even for yourself, let me know. I can send those over to you as well.
Katie does a good job of really giving us options, for different things we can get, meal prep services or a chef or someone that, can handle it. Personally, I enjoy being in the kitchen. So I've cooked a lot of meals. And me, my wife, my daughter Zoe, and our dogs, we just got to hang out and have family time and kind of enjoy it that way. Exercise
and diet play, a large role in our health, but also our mental health and our emotional health. And cooking can definitely be therapeutic and also can be a family gathering time that they kind of wind down and get their kids active in and then kind of build something together as a family.
Yeah, it's huge. We could just spend our time with our families and really try and grow as a family and enjoy each other. And some people don't have that option. There's a lot going on in this country. There's so many other people that are going through such difficult things in their life that we can be thankful for a little bit of time off sometimes, and just sit back and realize how lucky we are to be in our position. I was a teammate of Colin Kaepernick's at Nevada for a couple of years. Being around him and seeing what he's done, I think it's been really good. And I think people are really understanding that he wasn't ever trying to, disrespect the flag. He was really just trying to make a point and go about it the way he thought was, the best way possible. And I think that's one thing that people that are leaders on this team, we've had time to really do that, be more than football players. And from the times we've had, on Zoom calls and stuff, it's been really good to have those guys and they have your back. And, anything you do or need, they're going to support you in that matter.
What's up, guys? The players been at home, initially it was really about making sure that they were safe, them and their families, and educating them on what they needed to do to stay safe. And then the strength conditioning staff providing support on, giving them workouts and training tips.
So we reached out to each guy to find out if they needed anything. So the league cleared it so that we could send equipment to the players. Quite a few of the guys did not have a place to go, and a lot of guys have small weight rooms in their houses, but they don't have the equipment needed to do what we're asking them to do necessarily.
As we got into later phases of the off-season program, we've required the players to return or share videos with us of them executing these exercises, and you see what they're actually doing and the technique they're using while accomplishing these lifts, and then to provide feedback. It's really important as part of the training process.
What's kind of going on with, I guess, the world, especially outside of here, outside of football. Being able to get outside, being able to train and lift and kind of take your mind off of it and just be able to kind of focus on your craft is very therapeutic.
When you get on the basketball court or when I get on the Peloton, treadmill, anything in there, I feel like I can just let go and be at peace. I can completely exhaust myself or strain my muscles to the point where I'm just so far gone. It's everything that I was worried about, everything that I was frustrated about, that's off of me now. Now I'm just worried about breathing and surviving. Now my mind's so far into something else. What was behind me is completely behind me. We're still gonna prepare and work out like there's gonna be a season and it's gonna be right on time. Coach Stefanski is kind of a man of the players. He reached out to me multiple times, text, calling, just checking on me. I really appreciate that. He's close enough to the situation where he could say, this is near and dear to not just you, but to all of us, because this is a time in America that could change the course of history. So, y'all take some time, see what you can do to make some change, and he's been completely for that. The majority of NFL football players are African American, so this is something that we have experienced and endured for most of our lifetimes. It's good to see that he have our back, and hopefully they keep on supporting us through however long this lasts, and we can see some change come out of it. with my grandmother. She saw Muhammad Ali as an inspiration for me because she thought I kind of shared some similarities, that I like to write poetry, and I had different interests. For me, it was, trying to find myself, and then, sports was kind of secondary. And so she kind of saw him as an inspiration because he was bigger than the world of boxing. He had his activism for Black youth in America. I mean, just Black people all over the world. There's so many times where he could have, folded or, backed out instead of standing up for what he believed in. I think that's the biggest inspiration you can get from anyone, is someone who always fights for what they believe in, no matter what the odds are. And Jim Brown's awesome. I mean, not only stuff he's done on the football field, but how he completely redefined what it is to be a football player, and he set the trend of being in movies, being a political activist, giving back to the community, working on education for young Black youth and youth in general, just getting the same opportunity as everybody else. He set the bar for everybody, and we're just trying to meet it. Everybody has a platform, but now everybody's at the same depth on their voice. Now everybody can reach everybody, like us as athletes, celebrities, influencers. I mean, wherever you want to call it, wherever you are, you have a lot of voice in those around you, so you should be able to speak up for those who can't be heard. And that's my responsibility with the platform I've been given, and I don't want to let someone who's suffering or living an opportune situation go unheard and live the rest of their life the way they have to.